The Witch Who Didn't Have a Cat by Sue Seddon. There was once a witch called Esmeralda who didn't have a cat. The chief witch wasn't very pleased about it and commanded Esmeralda to come and explain her lack of a cat in person. So Esmeralda mounted her broomstick and flew to Castle Grey Doom. "Now look here, Esmeralda," began the chief witch. "You must get yourself a cat. All witches have a cat. You can't be a witch without one." "I don't want a cat," whined Esmeralda. "Stuff and nonsense, why ever not?" snapped the chief witch. Esmeralda looked at her through her slanty green eyes and cracked her knobbly knuckles crossly. "I don't like cats," she said. "Not like cats! Not like cats!" shrieked the chief witch, her crumpled face quivering with rage. "We'll see about that. I shall send you a cat tomorrow. Do not try to get rid of it with spells. My magic is stronger than yours. Now go home." The next morning, Esmeralda was woken by a dreadful, ear-splitting yowl outside her window. "The cat!" she thought, and went to the door. Opening it, she saw a small black cat sitting on the step. "Scram!" yelled Esmeralda and slammed the door. A few moments later, she opened it again. The cat was still there with his back to her. "Shoo!" hissed Esmeralda. The cat didn't even twitch his tail. Then very slowly he turned his head and fixed his great yellow eyes on Esmeralda and yawned. "Broomsticks and buffaloes!" growled Esmeralda. "This is going to be difficult." And she banged the door shut again. All that day, Esmeralda worked her way through her giant book of spells, especially the disappearing, vanishing, and getting rid of sections. But the spells were all useless. At bedtime, the cat was still on the doorstep, though he had curled up and gone to sleep. "Drat this cat!" said Esmeralda. "If magic doesn't work, I shall have to take him somewhere and lose him. Now where shall I take him?" In the morning, Esmeralda opened the door and called the cat. "Pussy, pussy, pussy! Who's a nice little pussy then? Come to Mommy!" The cat opened an eye and uncurled itself slowly. It looked down its nose at the witch's shaggy red hair and long green fingernails, then arched its back and had a good stretch. Esmeralda grabbed it. It let out a fearful yowl, but she hung on and galloped towards her broomstick. After a terrible fight, Esmeralda managed to tie the cat onto the handle of the broomstick, and leaping astride, she took off. High into the sky they flew, higher than a plane and faster than a train. The air screamed past them and flattened the cat's ears to its head and its whiskers to its cheeks. Esmeralda untied the cat. "Hang on, pussycat," she cried, "or you might just fall off." And she let out a dreadful shriek of laughter. Now, Esmeralda was famous for her aerobatics. She had won prizes for looping the loop, and her skydives were spectacular. Roaring through the sky with a cat behind her, she threw her broomstick into all the high-flying tricks she knew. She zigzagged, she curled, she dodged and stalled. She went into a record head dive which made even her own stomach turn over, but she couldn't shake the cat off. He sat calmly through it all. At last, in desperation, she looped the biggest loop. It was so enormous that her heels hit the stars and made sparks fly. Everyone on Earth saw hundreds of shooting stars. "This is it, cat! Say goodbye!" yelled Esmeralda as Broomstick, Witch, and Cat fell from the top of the loop into a death-defying dive. Even Esmeralda was using all her magic to stay on. Her pointed witch's hat disappeared, and so did the cat. Esmeralda looked back to make quite sure and shouted a triumphant "Hooray!" But when she turned round again, what a shock she got! For there was the cat sitting on the front of the broomstick, enjoying every minute of it. He had climbed round to get a better view. So they shot down to earth together, and Esmeralda tried everything she knew to make the cat fall off. She dived into the deepest ocean, but the cat loved the fish and asked her to do it again. She traveled through the hottest deserts, but the cat loved the sun. She tried to freeze him in Antarctica, but he got on very well with penguins. She even took him to the moon, but he said he'd always wanted to be the first cat to land there. Exhausted, Esmeralda returned home. The cat smiled and asked when they could go up again. Esmeralda went to see the chief witch. "Okay, you win," she said. "I'll keep the cat. I'm beginning to think he's rather special." "He is," answered the chief witch. "I gave him 9 lives." So that is how Esmeralda the witch got her cat. The end.